big story for you here. It's not going to be covered by the alternative media, probably. And I know some people are going to dismiss it as not true. Who the hell knows? But I think it is true, to tell you the truth. Well, let me put it this way. It's coming from a section of Ukraine that's actually been noted for anti-Semitism. It was a key, one of the worst parts of the Holocaust that happened at the time. But what happened here is that there was 3 masked men outside of a synagogue during Passover that were passing out leaflets telling Jews to register with the authorities by May 3rd. And they tried to post it on the wall. And they said the leaflet was distributed in Donetsk, Ukraine, calling for all Jews over 16 years of old to register as Jews. And this was in the eastern Ukraine by pro-Russian separatists. Now, I know what the initial knee-jerk reaction is going to be from the alternative media, that somehow Jews are playing this game or something to do something. I don't know why, because that would actually hurt you. You know what I mean? If you really think of it in common sense way, it's not going to work if it's, because I know what the people are going to say in the alternative media. Actually, this story, what I can tell you right now, this story is not going to even be portrayed in the alternative media. You're not going to hear it from Mike Rivero. You're not going to hear it from Max Kaiser. You're not going to hear it from Gerald Salente. You're not going to hear it from any of these guys about, this story is not going to come out. Now, the thing is, with any story that comes out, people already have their minds made up in a certain way. I know it becomes to the question of, what your opinion is on Jews. It gets very, very polarized. I know that. I mean, I wasn't born yesterday. I know some people think one way, too much one way, or too much the other way, or whatever. I mean, it's a polarized issue. It's almost like talking about religion or something. It's like either you believe it or you don't believe it or whatever. But I would see absolutely no point why Jews would play a game to, because I know what the alternative media is going to say, or some comments in my video may say that some Jews put the leaflets out there to draw attention to themselves. That's not the type of attention you want, to tell you the truth. But what I found interesting, though, is, where I say it's absolutely fact is because the alternative media hasn't reported this story at all. And it is coming from a section of Ukraine that was a key area of the Holocaust itself. And, there is a lot of anti-Semitism. I know there is. And it's on the rise again. I know that. It's like the pendulum swings too much one way or the other, I mean, I'll be critical of Jews during the times maybe where they walk on water and absolutely everybody never criticizes Jewish people or anybody that's Jewish in any way, shape, or form. That's when the pendulum goes this way. I'll be critical then, because I'm pretty much politically incorrect. As a matter of fact, some people might be thinking I'm being paid to say this certain way. No, I'm not, because if actually somebody was trying to pay me to mold my opinion a certain way, it would piss me off and I'd go the other direction. So I'm being very honest about this. And, I think the story's true. I think there is a lot of anti-Semitism that's been in that area for a long time. And now, they associate that with, I don't know. I mean, actually in Russia there's been a lot of anti-Semitism too. There always has been. I'm going to actually ad lib on here a little bit, because I know what the alternative people say, and I know what the conspiracy people say, and I know there's a lot of truth to conspiracies and stuff. And, one of the big, I'm going to bring this out because nobody else ever brings this out. But, if you go back to the czars had a policy of persecuting Jews, pretty much. And you could say, some people say, oh, they deserved it. I know what people will say. Some people will say that. But, when the Bolshevik Revolution came along, a lot of that was more supported by Jews, right? Not that, and you got to look at the communist ideology. The ideology was everything's going to be more equal, right? So, I mean, a lot of times people look at, like, the Bolshevik Revolution, they realize there was a lot of Jewish participation in it. And for that reason, they cite that as a reason why Jews are no good, right? But you got to look at it from this angle. It was something to overthrow the czars who were against the Jews. And the ideology of communism wasn't, it wasn't really, the end result of it wasn't really known, but the ideology was to basically divide up all resources and productivity and the fruits of all that productivity amongst the people. On the surface, it sounds pretty good. Communism kind of sounds pretty good, It sounds like just sharing, working together and sharing. That's what it sounds like. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying here. It's like, the anti-Jewish thing people might put out is like, they were on the side of the Bolshevik Revolution. And you got to understand, that was all about, basically overthrowing the czars, because the czars had a long history of persecuting the Jews. And, I want to get on one other thing, too, because, I'm not much into religion, and I don't know a lot about all these different religions. But, I've seen and I read of, the anti-Jewish spiels out there about different things, about the Jewish Holy Day of Atonement. The Jewish Day of Atonement means you're going to atone for all the sins you're going to commit in the future. And I've seen where people said that means that Jews can do anything they want in the future because, they atone for all their sins. That means you can do anything wrong because you already got yourself forgiven ahead of time, basically, or whatever it is, or you atone for your sins. That's not what that day is about. It is about, I'm not Jewish. I'm not going to really put this out here. I'm just going to put this out in common layman's type way. But basically, it's recognizing that humans are flawed. Everybody's flawed. Everybody is going to do something wrong in the future. We're not going to we might want to be good from this point on, but we know we're going to err. We're going to do something wrong. So it's basically you're atoning and you're feeling sorry and you're asking forgiveness for the bad things that you're going to screw up on in the future. It's not like you're trying to absolve yourself of everything you're going to do against somebody in the future. And, it's like you could take, if you go to confession, you could say, I can go commit all the sins I want, then I can confess, or I'm saved by Jesus, I can do anything I want now, and I can do everything wrong now because I'm saved by Jesus. There's a lot of ways you could play games with a lot of stuff. So, I just, tell you the truth, I think the story's 110% true about the leaflets, because the area of Ukraine that it's coming from has been a central point of the Holocaust. And it's like, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Jews got stuff to worry about, man. They do. It's like, I don't know, sometimes maybe it's like you want to be chilling because, first off, I'll support the Jews all the way. I will, for real. If there was a militia I was going to join up with, it would be the Jewish Defense League. Armed to the teeth. No fucking around, man. I wouldn't let nothing happen to no Jews. And, I see them as a scapegoat. I do. They are the scapegoat. It's like when you get yourself, you kind of like have yourself your own little identity. And, somebody in that group does something, because I know that all Jews are perfect, right? Somebody in that group does something. The outside major group looks at the whole group, and it's like they put that, it's only like the one thing that one person did, and they basically put it on the whole group. It's like that. I mean, you might want to think of Jews as a biker gang, that's a bad example, but, maybe that's, it's one way of putting it if you want to put it in common layman's terms, Maybe you got a motorcycle club, right? And you're a bunch of good old good boys, and you're having a good time, and you're having fun, you're partying, and somebody does something stupid. Well, the whole gang is now bad because you were wearing the colors, you know what I mean? You were wearing the colors, and they saw you they saw one of your people do something, so all you with the colors are bad. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So like when you have yourself identify yourself as a group, if one member in that group does something, you know, it reflects on the whole group. And that's been their problem actually a lot of times, because you know that's what happens when you're a minority, and you know you are a minority by choice. You know, you're a minority by choice. And consider the United States as a free country, you can do what the hell you want. You can do what the hell you want. Well, it looks like in Ukraine, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And, you know, the Jews are being told by some groups, some pro-Russian separatists, to register with the commissar by May 3rd. And I know what the Jews are going to do about that. You know, hey, we ain't registered. Fuck you. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to push this organization right now, Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership. That is one organization that actually has the deal right with what's going on in the world. And I know, unfortunately, I guess it's not really Jews in general, but some of these Jewish politicians like Feinstein and Bloomberg and crap like that, you know, they're all pushing for gun control to the left, to the max, you know what I mean? And it's like that's going to lead to a Holocaust, man. That's going to lead to a Holocaust. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. And, you know, it's like the same kind of crap happens over and over again. People forget, new generations forget what the hell happened in the past. You know, I don't like oversaying too much about what happened in the Holocaust, because I think it's been said so many times that people are actually almost they heard it too much, and it becomes like works against the message getting out there. But you do have to keep things in mind of what happened in the past, because history does repeat itself. It always does. And I also would urge any true blue patriots in the United States, you know, the militia types and stuff like that, defend the Jews. They are going to be scapegoated, man. Defend the Jews. Defend the Jews. You know, it's not like you got to defend Feinstein. I think Feinstein needs to be put over somebody's knee and spanked because he's a yo-yo. But I'm talking about defend the Jews. Defend the Jews. And, you know, it's like unfortunate that things are going full circle. It's like the pendulum for the Jews kind of like swings all this way, one way, and it's like they can do absolutely no wrong and nothing's wrong with anything. Now it's going the other way, and it's like every freaking problem in the world is being blamed on the Jews. It's ridiculous. And, you know, I'm going to point out again, this alternative media is, they're part of like what's going on with some of this anti-Semitism, because, you know, I agree with the major media is a bunch of garbage, but, you know, I'm looking at a lot of this alternative media, and they're also blaming the Jews on every damn thing there is too. You know, this story about what these leaflets being passed around in Ukraine, I think it's legit. You know, it wouldn't be some kind of weird plot to draw attention to Jews or something. You know, because I know some people are going to say that. No matter what I do, some people are going to say that. It's coming from an area, Ukraine, that had a lot of persecution of Jews in the first place. So that some of these pro-Russian separatists are looking to, you know, lay the law down on them and control everything in that area. And they want Jews to be registered. It's bullshit. It's ridiculous. And, you know, who the hell knows? Maybe Obamacare is going to register Jews, too. Who the hell knows, right? That guy's a Muslim. Anyway, over and out. I think I said enough, because this is actually pissing me the hell off. Because I think no matter what I say, there's all these people out there that they think I am just kissing up to the Jews or something like that, and I'm not. I'm not. Period. I know what fair and square is square and all that kind of garbage. And to tell you the truth, you know, if I was in Ukraine, I saw some fucker passing out some leaflets like that with a mask on, and had my little pea shooter on me, I would have blasted that fucker right between the eyes, man, right then and there. That would have been it, and I would have found out who he was. That's what I would have done. No problem about it. Because this kind of shit has got to stop immediately. And to tell you the truth, if I'm going to be a patriot, I'm going to make sure that the Jews are protected in this United States of America. Because the Constitution of the United States is about protection of all religions and all peoples. That's what it's about. And the only way you can do that is to be armed. So, you know, I know about Feinstein and Bloomberg. Fuck them. You know, I stand with Jews for the preservation of firearms ownership. And if I'm going to join a militia, it's going to be the JDL. No shit.